When I was little, I used to watch Sprout. Before being called Universal Kids, I think in 2020 or 2019, I think it was from 2018, I used to watch so many shows. The one I watched every morning was the Sunny Side Up show. It's just a morning show from Sprout. They would always play announcing a kid's birthday or just doing fun stuff. There's another show I love, though, that I used to watch back in 2014, and that show is Astroblast. Astroblast was a show about a crew making smoothies, each with a name. Comet, the leader, Haley, the delivery bunny, Sputnik, the smoothie maker, Radar, the fixer, and Sal. I think he's the helper. And altogether, they live in the Frosty Star, where they make the smoothies. The Frosty Star was a place in this TV series Astroblast that we all remember. However, even though we remember some stuff, today, instead, I'll be telling you another creepypasta story. This time, it'll be focusing on, you guessed it, Astroblast. Now, this story is about the lost season. And do you know how many seasons there are normally in Astroblast? Yeah, there's just 2 seasons. The very last episode of the whole series being the season 2 episode Kapousers. After that, the show was canceled. That made me so sad since I love watching the episodes. Today, I'll be telling you a creepypasta story about season 3. Yeah, you know there's not an actual season 3. But in my creepypasta story, there is. And here's how it goes. I've been watching Sprout lately, and every time I've been watching it, I would regularly watch the Sunny Side Up show, the Good Night show, Lazy Town, Chloe's Closet, and all other shows. The one I loved the most, though, was Astroblast. As I already told you, it's a show about a crew of animals and how they serve smoothies in the galaxy of the Frosty Star. Today I'll be telling you about the lost season, season 3. Season 3 was an unknown season, supposed to be starting production. It actually never happened. Why? Here's why. I think maybe it's because they just wanted to end the show with a second season, not with a third one. And another thing, maybe because the producers never wanted it. I think I've been loving Astroblast ever since before it was called Universal Kids. I don't know why they would change it, and that makes me so mad that Sprout is now gone. But at least I love the show. People have been uploading episodes on YouTube, but there has never been season 3, of course. But in this story is different. I've been watching TV in my living room. On it was Sprout. Right now we were getting into the Good Night show. It was already 6 p.m. I decided to go in my bedroom and watch some Sprout. As I watched Sprout, an announcement came saying that there's going to be a new season of Astroblast, Season 3. Season 3 was going to be like a new season of Astroblast I never get to see before, which is exciting. I never saw Season 3, and I was so excited to see it. Soon after many commercials, the episode began. I was so happy. The theme song came up as normal, but there was a new theme. Instead of saying a smoothie shack to shout about, it says a smoothie shack you love to shout. And by the end of the intro, there's also a new logo. Instead of the Saturn rings with the star, it's now stars with the same star with the Saturn ring, but this time showing all the characters in the background, saying, Astroblast! I was so happy to watch this episode, but that's not what I expected, as I was about to see. The episode somehow strangely was called Unknown Episode. When the episode started, it started with the crew cleaning up the Frosty Star. It looked like if they already served customers, and the day was about to end, and they were about to close the Frosty Star. By the time they stopped cleaning, Comet says, "Okay, guys, I think it's time for bed now." They all were going to their rooms, but before they can, a lot of customers came busting through the door. Comet was confused. He thought the Frosty Star was closing. I guess it's not. Sputnik then said, "Comet, why are there people here?" Comet was even more confused. "You know what? I don't even know, Sputnik," said Comet. "Well, we better deliver some smoothies," said Haley. Soon they all got started. The monsters kept shouting, "We want smoothies!" Then, by the end, it then shows a title card. The card then says, "The next hour." The next scene then showed the Astroblast crew looking exhausted, looking like they're drunk. The Astroblast crew all gave a sigh of relief. "That was sure a lot of customers," said Radar. "You could say that again," said Haley. I was confused. I didn't even know the customers were coming in already. The next scene then showed the Astroblast crew in their pajamas, getting ready for bed. And by the time they were ready for bed, we all see the lights turn out. Until, boom! A big crash from the Astroblast crew's Frosty Star in the galaxy. One star was about to die, and another star too. All the stars next to the Frosty Star were about to die. "Oh no!" everyone said. "What's going on?" said Sputnik. When she saw, she was surprised. "Stars are about to die. Looks like they're about to blast. Hang cover, everyone," said Comet. And by the time the star blast, it was so loud, I couldn't resist covering my ears. And by the time that happened, the Frosty Star was destroyed. "Oh no, the Frosty Star," said Haley. "I know, it's been our place for many years." "Those stupid stars," said Radar. I actually laughed because Radar is always funny. But I stopped laughing as soon as Comet says, "I guess we'll have to find a new restaurant." Sputnik started crying. Comet tried to hug her and comfort her that everything was going to be okay. The Sprout logo then came up. And the next scene then showed everyone in one of those galaxy cars. Sputnik looking more sadder than usual. "Don't worry, guys, we'll get cover," said Comet, riding in his car. I forgot what it was, but it was in the episode where they tried to drive in this car, but every time it happens, his car would get destroyed, and he never let anyone ride in his car. Unless if they shared it, and he wanted it all clean. Alright, back to the episode. The next scene then showed, this time, the Astroblast at Comet's house. Now, this is weird, because Comet's house and his friend's house never even appeared in the show. In fact, it never ever did in any season. It was kind of strange. And by the time they got there, they went back to sleep. Then a title card then showed the next day. The next day was much worse. The next day was the day that the stars and the whole galaxy of Astroblast would fade away. At least they didn't know it at first. By the time they went back to the Frosty Star to say their goodbyes, they soon noticed that the Frosty Star has changed. Everything was covered in lots and lots of tattoos-looking logos, and it was more horrible that they renamed the Frosty Star into the Death Star. Soon, the screen then turned red. It was kind of weird because I didn't even know why the screen turned red in the first place. I think it was an error. And by the time the error stopped, everyone then said, "Huh? What happened to the Frosty Star?" Radar said. "Well, I don't know. Everything was normal until that big crash from those stars." "Stupid stars," said Radar. Everyone looked at Radar confused. "Yeah, I know. Like, I don't care," said Radar. I laughed again. She gets me every time. But once again, I stopped laughing as soon as they went in the Frosty Star, which was now the Death Star. As soon as they went in, a new crew of lunchers came in. "What are you guys doing here?" said a strange man. The man looked even weirder. Next to him was a Spanish man. I didn't know what he was saying, but it sounded like Spanish gibberish words that said, "Cuando inicia no se detestar." Everyone was confused now. By the time they bust in the door, they said, "Get out of the Frosty Star." The Spanish man then said, "Cuanos enina oriente bus ahor enis." "No, we're not letting you get our Frosty Star," said Sputnik. "Sputnik's right," said Comet. "This is our place. This used to be our place." "Well, actually, it's not." The Frosty Star crew then opened up a lid, looking strange. "You see," said a guy that was part of the Death Star crew, "the Frosty Star used to be called the Snack Shack." "The Snack Shack?" "Back then, before you guys became part of the crew, there used to be us, the old crew. We used to be good, and back then, they didn't just serve smoothies, they served snacks, to sandwiches, to lots of pizza, to apples, to dessert, every single thing you would get in a meal. But until today, you ruined our place." "We didn't ruin your place. You did back then, when we tried to hire you, and when the Frosty Star first came. When you were just kids, you came in the door, knocked on the door, and said if you wanted our restaurant. Then you said that you're gonna steal our place because you guys hated the Snack Shack. And why is because you were jealous. You used to make a lemonade stand that I used to saw. Back then we were kids, and we used to saw you guys as toddlers making the lemonade stand. It then showed a flashback of them when they were babies, but it only was 2 minutes. Then it went back to what the guy was saying, back in the present time. When you were babies and before the Frosty Star started, we were the real crew. Until it was you guys who came in, bust in the door, and tried to steal our delicious snacks. The guy then sobs. We tried everything to get our Frosty Star back. Snack Shack. Ha, said Radar. I knew it. But it was no use. And now we're angry at you guys because you took our only store of Food Shack, and that was the Snack Shack. The Spanish guy started to cry and said, "Come anida aliente." The Frosty Star crew started to sob. You know what's even worse? They even used to say your parents even used to left you at the Frosty Star, abandoned you, and went back to their home. Your parents would never find out. It was just a bunch of parents. The first one who came was Comet. His mom and dad were so sad to let him go, but it was no use. Their universe were about to crash. Then came Sputnik. Sputnik was raised by a family of pigs who lived on a farm which suddenly got crashed, also by the universe of comets. Then came Radar with his 2 cousins and sister. And by the time they left him, they felt so sad they didn't even laugh like Radar. Then came Haley. Haley was actually a rabbit from Australia, but they decided to let her into space to experience the NASA life. And by the time they left her, they used to left her on the moon until a strange-looking creature came by, swooped her by the Frosty Star, and accidentally left her. Then the last one came Jet, the quiet crocodile. Jet didn't even say anything. He just looked around concerned. And what about Sal? Oh, I'll tell them the story, said Sal. But he said it in a sad tone. You see, guys, you guys weren't even born yet back then. Back then, I took care of it with them. Back then, I was their waitress. Until you guys came, I soon became a helper. Really? Said Sputnik. Yep. Oh my goodness. First off, why would you take our food stamp? Radar said. Well, because we wanted a food stand too, and we decided to come back here to check it out until, we noticed your Frosty Star went away, all thanks to you guys crashing it. Hey, it wasn't us, said Comet. It was one of those stars from last night. Oh yeah. Soon, the Spanish man came up and said, Caminos en yente glusamonier. I didn't even know what he said. He always says gibberish, and every time I try to hear him, he sounds nonsensical. After that scene, the Spanish guy said, Amiento que sin amiento. And then the guy said, what is going to happen to us? Soon, the screen then zoomed out of the Frosty Star. Now with a lot of chains and Gucci stuff. The next scene then was even sadder. It then showed all the Astroblast's parents and all of the Astroblast crew inside of what became the Death Star instead of the Frosty Star. It seemed like a funeral. When everyone came, Comet then went on stage. Friends, it has been a best time serving you here, and we really miss the Frosty Star. As much as that has been, when we were little, we first opened the Frosty Star. You all liked our smoothies. And everyone sighed. Yeah, it was so good. But until that horrible day where the stars crashed. Hey, I heard the stars crashed too, said one of the family members in the crowd. Yeah, us too, said all the family members. Oh, so you all did? Yeah, we experienced it last night. No wonder, said Comet. Well, at least it's not as bad as last time. I just want to say thank you for all many years for serving you guys. It has been a while, and I can't believe we're finally closing down. I also want to say a few words. I want to say that I'm sorry we even started this joint in the first place. Everyone then stopped and looked up very seriously. I just wanted to say how much I cared about you guys. You guys rock. I just don't think our place was good for you. Are you kidding? It was great, said a man in the background. No, it wasn't. Every time, ever since we were little, you guys abandoned us. Everyone gasped. Well, yeah, we did, said Radar's sister, who was now a teenager. Yeah, that was horrible. And I want to say that I'm also very, very sorry for even continuing to open the Frosty Star. We also got guests in the background, the Death Star crew. The Death Star crew then shouted out, "Woo! The Frosty Star is ending!" Comet then sighed even more. All of the Frosty Star crew came out, including Haley, Sputnik, Jet, Radar, and all of them came. And they all said, "Thank you very much for serving us all year." The next scene then showed everyone outside the Frosty Star. We'll open up a new location of the Death Star coming next year. Everyone then started crying. Well, everybody, say goodbye to Frosty Star. We're sorry for many, many years. And we want to thank you all the time. Goodbye, Frosty Star, said Comet. Rest in peace. Soon we then hear a big boom in the background, which was much louder than the star boom. And that was the end. It then showed the epilogue, which this was supposed to be the very last episode of the series. But it was decided that Kapowser's was. This was also supposed to be the first episode of Season 3, but wasn't. The epilogue then showed the whole crew, all now grown up into adults, thinking about their days at the Frosty Star. Haley then said, "Hey guys, remember the Frosty Star?" They then looked at Haley. "Yeah, we remember. We don't remember that place anymore because we used to blow it up." "But where are we going to have a fast food joint now?" They then looked out the window. "You never know, Haley. You never know," said Comet. It then zoomed out of this scene. The end credits then showed up. And that was the end of the episode. That was so shocking. I never saw such a bad episode like this. I was also crying during the episode because I never ever heard it. And that was the episode of what was supposed to be Season 3. Thank you guys so much for watching this creepypasta.